Gospel of Luke, chapter 19, do we find the following story in the words of Jesus and his weeping over Jerusalem. He says, "Would that even today you knew the things that make for peace. For the days shall come upon you when your enemies will cast up a bank about you and surround you, and hem you in on every side and dash you to the ground, you and your children within you. And they will not leave one stone upon another in you, because you did not know the time of your visitation." Jesus' coming brings either salvation or judgment. If only the people knew that in Jesus, peace had arrived in the city whose very name means City of Peace. There was a stark contrast between the joy and proclamations of the people at his entrance and the weeping of Jesus over the city. Even those who praised his interest in coming did not understand the destruction that was about to come. But what are those things that make for peace? If we are to look at the life of Jesus and the biblical message, peace comes when we love God and we love our neighbor. Peace comes when we have more concern over our behavior and our actions and beliefs rather than finding reasons for argument and hate. Shortly thereafter, Jesus arrived at the temple. Mark 11 tells us, "And they came to Jerusalem, and he entered the temple and began to drive out those who sold and those who bought in the temple, and he overturned the tables of the money changers." Those who sold were selling kosher animals used for sacrifice in the temple. The money changers were present to change currency to the currency accepted for the expected payment of the temple tax. Allowing this to go on in the temple site transformed a place set aside for worship, prayer, and communion with God to an open market stockyard filled with the sounds and smell of animals. Extortion was the name of the game due to the increased population for Passover. It was the perfect opportunity for the money changers to increase their change fee and take advantage of the pilgrims. The chief priests, the elevated leaders of the people, benefited greatly from allowing such events to take place. Their wealth, as seen in the excavated 6,000 square foot mansions of the high priests, show wealth and power that was rank with corruption. They had long given up the sacredness of the temple. What was happening in the temple precincts was not what makes for peace. Love for God and humanity was turned on its head. Now, this was not Jesus' first time in Jerusalem. He was not a tourist viewing the sacred precincts of the temple for the first time. He was the sovereign Lord examining the institution to see whether it was fulfilling its divinely appointed mission. Jesus was not concerned with Israel's relationship with Rome, but he was concerned with Israel's relationship with God. The noise of animals had replaced praise, and prayer was replaced by greed. By entering the temple and turning the tables and driving out the money changers, Jesus portrayed authority as a defender of the house of God. If you think about it, this tells us a great deal about the reasons the chief priests and their supporters wanted his destruction. The words of Jesus, "Not one stone will be left upon another," came to pass in 70 AD. Jerusalem was destroyed, and there are still examples today of the fires and rubble of the temple stones pummeled atop one another. The destruction of the temple and Jerusalem in 70 AD renews the question, what are those things that make for peace? The actions of Jesus display that he did not stand for corruption, dishonoring God, or taking advantage of people. Jesus demonstrated a tenderness and a care, as in Matthew 21. The blind and the lame came to him in the temple, and he healed them. Jesus displayed that caring for his fellow human exemplified honor to God who created them. So do you allow for corruption or dishonoring God or taking advantage of people? Or do you care, as Jesus did, for those around you, those created in the image of God? Today, how are you party to the things that make for peace?